Hey yo, I'm on the job. See my eyes focus where the prize be. Even though they tried and rob me and sabotage me, spot this like Pac when they got him in the lobby. Try to tax and find me like Ronald Isley. I'm a changed man, ain't no with fans or problems. Niggas used to know me, they don't even recognize me. Yup, the P5B is who the repertoire be. Doing it again, just like Portier and Cosby. I'm like Martin Luther King, you like Rodney. The difference is I give it everything inside me. Dear diary, the fans still swear by me. Even though I'm late night now, like here's Johnny. Swimming with them great whites now, that's where to find me. Funny how it break right down, but never mind me. Forever grimy, I guess it's just Philly shining. Rock roller bipolar like Phyllis Hyman. I keep doing it again. Back to doom doom back to doom doom back. How I'm doing it again. Y'all go check out that Roots, that How I Got Over. That is a great album. Shout out to Tariq Trotter, aka Black Thought, and the whole Roots crew, the legendary Roots crew. Shout out to Philly 215. What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is a place where our sonic things might happen. Some incendiary devices may become, inflamed and doing their thing and burning down as we see fit and appropriate. I'm so grateful that you guys have made the time to come kick it with your homie. We got a good show for y'all in today. I'm sorry, I need to reorganize my thoughts. I felt like I said I'm gonna spit a verse for the folks to set off today's show. I wasn't sure where I was gonna go, but you really can't go wrong with Black Thought. Am I right? Or am I right, rap heads? You cannot miss with some Tariq Trotter because Tariq is on the beat. Well, Tariq is on the mic and Amir's on the beat. But anyway, thank you guys so much for showing up. Please remember to hit the thumbs up button. Shout out to the good sis Noli D. Noli D. I don't know if you're in here or not, Noli D. I'm coming to the chat. But Noli D, so kindly on her Instagram, follow her at Strange Mind Dark Hearts on IG. Noli D is trying to get the people to come subscribe to my channel, Noli D. And I wanted to tell you, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's the kind of promotion, that's the kind of channel promotion that we need, that unfortunately this channel creator is unable to muster on her own. So I appreciate when y'all, put the word out and encourage your folks to come over here and subscribe to what we do over here. So thank you. A special shout out to Noli D. So tonight, y'all, I have a couple of stories that I want to get to. And, because there's a lot of things going on in the news. I'm sure you guys heard that Hunter Biden was indicted on 9 charges. What they say, Hunter Biden liked to, sniff coke and pimp hoes. And I don't know what they said Hunter Biden did, but either way, I was, listening to the story about the charge. I said, yep, he did that shit. He did all of that. Put him in jail. That's my thought about the Hunter Biden indictment. Yes, he did that. He did that shit. Put him in jail. put him directly under the jail. But in terms of my stories tonight, so there's a couple of things that I wanted to get to. So namely, with the recent discussions and news surrounding Diddy and sex allegations about, rape and other such things. It's not just Diddy, it's not just, these different specific individuals, but I wanted to circle back to how this larger conversation around basically sanctioned sexual violence, I want to bring it back to the Catholic Church because there's some news coming out of Maryland, my fair state. Fair is being nice. But anyway, the Archdiocese in Maryland, in Baltimore more specifically, has filed bankruptcy. And they filed bankruptcy basically to get out of paying lawsuits. And apparently, the Archdiocese of Washington is trying to follow suit. And I want to talk about a couple of stories here locally in which these institutions, specifically the Catholic Church, a giant global institution, apparently a global institution of, transient pedophiles. Like, I can't. It's almost a misnomer to call the Catholic Church a church. It just seemed like they just shuffled the pedophiles around. It's like, where they do that at? I guess every fucking where the Catholic Church was on earth. So anyway, they got some shady shit going on in Maryland, and it kind of pertains to somewhat recent legislation passed and enacted here in the state of Maryland, allowing survivors of child sexual violence, if they were assaulted by clergy, there is no statute of limitations for them to bring lawsuits, civil lawsuits against those institutions. So I want to get into that a little later. And we're going to start off with a story about abortion coming out of Texas. Oh, yeah, y'all, I hope y'all ain't forget. The women, them, me, us, you, your baby, your boo boo, your sister, your mama, your auntie ain't got no rights in America. Tell the others. Go tell the others. Hold on, I'm coming back to that. What's up to everybody in the chat? What's up, infinite content? Infinite content. Don't be feeling no kind of way if I don't read your super chat, infinite content. You know I'm not reading it on purpose. You know I'm not reading it because I missed that shit. You know I'm not reading your shit because I don't fuck with infinite content. Don't play games with me out here in Philadelphia. I don't want to hear that shit. You know we rep for Philly. Out here north, no less. We screaming out north, no less. When we shout out Philly, we screaming out north. So don't play me, infinite content. I don't want to hear that shit. What's up, Damien Stone Alona? Thank you so much. What's up, Donnie? How's things going on in the jars? Peace, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for being here. There goes my son, Tyler. Hey, Tyler. How you doing, baby? Who else we got up in movement? Well, not, but is that Belly Girls? Wait, no, I can't half-ass read. Sorry. Hold on. As I say, hold on. Give me a second. Let's make this the bigger. Hey, peace to Jenna. Thank you so much for coming through. Peace to the good sis Wendy. Thank you so much. Who is this? GFC? Who is you? I don't know you. Everybody, let vet GFC. Make sure make sure they on the up and up. Because I try to only shout out my folks. I be feeling silly sometimes when I shout out strangers and then I look again and these motherfuckers in here talking shit. I said, God damn, what? Shout them out for what? Why did I do that for? What's up, Holly? Thank you so much. Peace to my good mods. What's up to Courtney and Latif, who I have a feeling the both of y'all are modding from behind the scenes. So much love to the good mods, to Courtney and Latif, per always. Let me go on and get into this here story. Peace to Vesper X. I love you, baby. Because y'all, I mean, when stories like this come out, it needs to serve not just as a reminder, but literally a blaring clarion call, okay? That in the year 2023, women in this country have fewer rights in terms of deciding what we do reproductively with our bodies than women did in this country 50 years ago, which is mind-boggling when you fucking think about it, because we are kind of taught that societal evolution is linear, right? Like, oh, women won the right to have access to abortion in 1970 something. It's 2023. Surely we should be light years away from that shit by now. Absolutely not. Not in this regressive fucking colony. No. Why they hating everything non-white? Don't forget they still hate the bitches too. In America, the bitches get no love in the United States, and not even the white bitches. Jesus, you want to talk about, I mean, as a black woman, do I think, I mean, shit, they're not even giving white women's access and respect out here. Let me take you guys to Texas, because there's been a couple of interesting stories coming out of Texas as of late. And I do mean as of like the past week. And Will, if you could throw up that article from the Texas Tribune. So the first story I want to discuss has to do with a 32-year-old pregnant Texas woman who is approximately 20 weeks pregnant. She is already a mother of two. And while this is a baby, she's pregnant with her third child. This is a pregnancy that she would like to bring to term, but because of fetal, I can't even talk, developmental abnormalities, her child is likely to be born stillborn, or if it is born alive, it would likely die after a week. Okay. This woman lives in the suburbs of Dallas and out there in North Texas. And it came down this week. It says a judge says that a Texas woman may abort the fetus that has lethal abnormalities. And this is kind of a landmark case, everybody, because to be perfectly clear, this is not any sort of victory for women in Texas who seek to have abortion services. The state of Texas has a near total ban on abortion, with the lone exception being to protect the life of the mother. In spite of this woman knowing that, and her doctors knowing that her fetus would either likely be born stillborn or die within a week. And furthermore, that this mother, her own fertility could be compromised in the future, jeopardizing her ability to bear children after this pregnancy if she does not receive an abortion. Even with those criteria, under Texas law, she does not qualify legally for an abortion. So in the state of Texas, they would rather women risk their fertility, ergo risking their health onward, in order to bring into the world a child, a fetus, a baby at that point once it's born, a baby that is not going to survive or have any sort of quality of life, or who would be born already dead. The state of Texas wants to force women into these kinds of situations. And it doesn't even, I can't say wants to. The state of Texas does not want to. They are. They are. After the Dobbs decision from the Supreme Court last June, or 2 Junes ago now, Texas, I think, had a trigger law that went right straight into effect. And this is the kind of things that we're left with. If you could, we'll put up the article again, because I want you guys to look at this lady. Okay. Now, to be clear, we're going to get the story in just a second. I'm going to give you the package, as it were. But this is a ruling, a decision. Her name is Kate Cox, 31 years old. Kate Cox. This is a ruling exclusively and only for Katie. This is not now the Texas legislature or the Texas Supreme Court is about to have another look at these abortion laws, because under these circumstances, under Katie's circumstances, well, we need to reconsider. No, 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 no. They're doing this just for Katie, okay? It's only for Katie. And to be clear, whenever there are any sort of exceptions made, right, in the affirmative, on the best interest and on behalf of the patient, it's gonna be white folks benefiting from that. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's not a diss on Katie per se. I'm sure Katie's fine out here, I hope. but but you're not gonna see these kinds of cases make it all the way to certain levels of the court system when it's black women or indigenous women or Latinas involved. In fact, you're only going to see the criminal injustice system waged against women of color and not working to help preserve their health, in the same way that this court decision, in the same way that this judge ruled in favor of this white woman. By the way, the white woman need to have a fucking abortion. I'm not dissing the white woman. I'm just saying, I just want y'all to be noticing this shit, okay? Just be paying attention to this shit. Notice who gets the consideration and who you won't even see brought up for consideration. So I just wanted to point that out. Let us, if we could, let's go to the package. I think this is going to be, oh, come on now, stop being silly. This is going to be coming out of Texas, out of WFAA, and they're going to touch not only on Kate Cox's ruling that a judge ruled that she can go ahead and have her abortion legally in the state of Texas, because she's not 100% in the clear. You guys are going to hear the reason for that in a moment. But the package is also going to mention a case that has in the past week was argued before the Texas Supreme Court regarding Texas's muddled as fuck illegal anti-woman, anti-child abortion ban that is on the books there in Texas. But let's take a look at this package. Yep, this is from WFAA television.
Now I am ready to turn it over to the attorneys for this case.
Attorneys in a Zoom hearing arguing over the fate of Kate and Justin Cox. The Dallas woman is 20 weeks pregnant. Doctors have confirmed her fetus has a fatal diagnosis, will be stillborn, or live for a week at most. But by Texas law, she cannot have an abortion unless her own life is in danger.
They have also told her that delivery of this pregnancy will be dangerous.
Doctors have told her taking the baby to term might keep the mother of two from having any children in the future.
According to her doctor, the medical care that she needs is an abortion.
Attorneys for the state of Texas argue she does not.
It's changing the medical exception in Texas and then saying that the plaintiffs meet this changed, newly rewritten standard in Texas. For that reason, this court should deny it.
But after 45 minutes, Judge Maya Guerra Gamble decided in her favor as Kate Cox in the Zoom window next to her began to cry.
The idea that Miss Cox wants desperately to be a parent, and this law might actually cause her to lose that ability is shocking and would be a genuine miscarriage of justice.
The response from the Texas Attorney General, this warning letter sent to Methodist Hospital, Women's Hospital of Texas, and Texas Children's Hospital, telling them the decision will not insulate hospitals, doctors, or anyone else from civil and criminal liability for violating Texas abortion laws. And Texas' Right to Life, in a statement, argued that fetuses should always be brought to term. Every child is uniquely precious and should continue to be protected in law, no matter how long or short the baby's life may be.
I will say that for her safety, her family's safety, and her physician's safety, we're not going to provide any information about where and when Kate is getting the health care that she needs.
But as Kate Cox and her doctors believe, they can now proceed with the abortion she was seeking. The state Supreme Court is still deciding the larger issue. 20 women and 2 doctors last week challenging and asking for clarification of the medical exception in the Texas abortion ban. Both sides and an untold number of Texas women still waiting for a decision on that. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
Well done package there, Kevin Reese, WFAA out of Dallas. A couple things there, guys. So yes, as you saw, the court did rule in Katie Cox and her husband's favor, so she is going to be able to have this abortion. Interesting and also very telling that the Texas State Attorney General there, Ken Paxton, a saltine amongst saltines, like a preeminent Ritz cracker. I mean, just outstanding in his clubhouse crackerisms. Just wow. Paxson sent the letter to her doctor saying, y'all can do this abortion if you want to. Guess what? The state is still reserving the right to come after you criminally if we want to. And lest we not forget, everybody, Texas is the state where they passed SB 8. The vigilante snitch law, right? I think that's my characterization of it. But this is where a regular ass person, another civilian, can bring a lawsuit against people that they suspect of providing abortion services. And they can sue them to the cost of, tens of thousands of dollars against the person being sued, against the person suspected. In this case, it would be Katie Cox's doctors and potentially anybody else on the medical team who's administering anesthesia or who's doing, post care for her after her abortion procedure. Like, despite the court ruling in her favor, her livelihood and the livelihood against of the medical professionals that are seeking to give her care are still very much in jeopardy in Texas, guys. And to be clear, I can't underscore the role and the weight that even race and class played in this particular ruling. Because even though this white lady's not in the clear, you see that the white lady had the resources to get herself in the clear, right? Even though she's not in the clear, she had the resources for legal representation. Her representation had the wherewithal to appeal a lower court's decision to make sure that the ruling, the eventual judgment, went in her favor. On the whole, black women, brown women don't have those kinds of resources, don't have the access, don't have the time to take off, don't have the money to pay the attorney. You know what I'm saying? This is there's no civil jackpot to be won at the end of this. There is no representing, get legal representation on contingency, when you're trying to fight for your right to have an abortion. Like, you either got the bread for the lawyer or you don't. The ACLU or one of the big repro orgs are going to represent you pro bono, or they aren't. And if they aren't, where does that leave you? I am not clear whether or not the Texas Department of Health is keeping proper statistics on women in Texas who have died as a result of not being able to have access to abortion services. I would not even trust that information were it available, right? Because I would think that they would manipulate and try to lessen those numbers if that data exists, which I'm sure somebody is keeping track, but I don't trust the state of Texas to be doing that. Well, hold on. So you see, Katie's got the thing in her favor, but she ain't in the clear yet because the mandem, Jesus Christ, at the fucking man, like they not even giving Katie no brace because she white. Like they said, bitch, white, you especially. No, white lady, no. It's your babies we want the most, white lady. We want them living, we want them dead. We don't care how them babies come out. You got to bring us some white babies, white lady. Ken Paxton said so. State of Texas said so. Who's that man? Greg Abbott says so. But the lawsuit that's being heard by the Texas Supreme Court is also an interesting one. So 20 women and 2 doctors, so it's 22 total plaintiffs, suing the state of Texas because they say that the language in the law banning abortions, the total ban on abortions, they say the language is not clear. And of course, the language is not fucking clear because it was written by a bunch of slack dick yokels in the Texas state legislature, overwhelmingly male, but not exclusively. There was some dumb wayward bitches. Where are my UK people at? Some stupid cunts. I love how the UK, Kalechi especially, oh God, Kalechi can call somebody a cunt like no other. But a bunch of there was some stupid ass cunts in the Texas legislature as well, who voted with them fucking slack dick ass mandem to enact this total ban on abortion. So there's a challenge to the law that the arguments each party has already made their arguments in front of the Texas Supreme Court. It's going to be several weeks before the court is expected to render a decision, but everybody on the Texas Supreme Court is a Republican. I don't know how that's going to go. But y'all, Texas is one of the, if not the largest state in the union, right? Texas, California, Alaska, somewhere in there, right? This is what it's like for millions of women in one state. There are roughly a dozen or so other states that have abortion bans on the books similar to Texas. And this is what we need to remember and remind ourselves as we're going into 2024. Like, there's a lot of things that we are out here fighting for, right? Black liberation for show, land back for show, the ability to exist while Black and not be murdered by the state, right? I mean, these are big asks, apparently. But the abortion issue is sort of particular because who doesn't it impact, right? Like across racial lines. And again, to the extent that it impacts people, it will impact them differently across racial lines, across socioeconomic lines. Wealthy white women may not be as impacted by this law as lower income Black and brown women. But all's the women's, but by and large, without, with the exception of some privileged few, all of the women's and people who care about women and girls um, are going to be impacted by this and continue to be impacted by this. And I think a lot of those people's voices are quiet. I think that there are some disturbing trends that are happening as a result of these abortion bans that are not being well broadcast. People who discovered that they are pregnant in abortion restrictive states and who may find themselves in denial about that pregnancy and then ergo do not seek proper prenatal care, which can lead to not only pregnancy complications but complications with the health of the mother and just a cascading myriad of issues. That's part of the reason why we have, and previously on this channel, and we will again in the future, resume supporting the local abortion funds. And it's not a diss necessarily to the national reproductive organizations, but it seems as though the local abortion funds are far more attuned to the needs of the folks on the ground and are willing to put up money, cash money, baby, to make sure that people have transportation, lodging, access to the services should they have to leave their home state in order to get these services. But y'all, don't look at this as this is just a chick issue. It's not. Okay? Like if you have women in your life, regardless of who the women's are, right? If they it don't have to be your partner, don't have to be your sister, your mother, your daughter, your auntie, like it could be your friends. It could be your homeboy's wife. It could be your best friend's sister. Like there's a lot of people who don't necessarily have to be in your immediate familial orbit or be in relationship to you, that you should care about this issue how more so than it impacts those that you immediately know. This is people's health in danger here, and also think about the kids, right? um I'm thinking about kids that may be born into situations in which they were simply unwanted. You know what I'm saying? That happens. You know what I'm saying? People give birth to kids that they did not want nor ask for. And sadly, sometimes these people treat them children like they did not want them and like they did not ask for them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, not saying just abort all the babies that nobody asked for, but we have to allow women especially and girls to have options in life, and the option about whether or not you want to be a mother or whether or not you even have the ability to be one, whether or not your health will be compromised if you bring this pregnancy to term, like those are all decisions that should never be taken from anybody, right? And if the shoe was on the other foot, if the shoe was on the other foot, beloveds, if the shoe was on the other foot, if there was some sort of medical procedure that affected men's health or men's reproductive health, it wouldn't be no debate. It wouldn't be no argument. Wouldn't be no protest. The man them is gonna make sure that the penises is doing their things, that the penises and the scrotums are in top working condition. Okay, and whatever that takes. It's okay. If there was a question about what the status of men's reproductive health and their erectile function and all that shit gonna get worked out, right? But my point is, because it's women, because we live in a deeply misogynist world, can't even necessarily pin it exclusively on American society. We live in a deeply misogynist world, that still in 2023, some men do feel as though they still have the authority to say about what women do with their bodies. And those men need to be smacked in the fucking teeth, okay? Literally and figuratively. If it means that they need to be voted out of office, that needs to happen, okay? And if we're talking about men who are representing primarily conservative, the pro-life district, I need the white women in them districts to operate some sort of surreptitious campaign, whisper campaign to get these motherfuckers out the paint, white conservative women, because when your daughter gets knocked up on prom night, and y'all not ready to be called grandma or grandpa, you're not gonna be able to justify to your husband a long ass trip to Colorado coming from Texas. So why don't we just get abortion back on the books in Texas and all the other states in which these draconian abortion restrictions have gone into place, and try to Damn it, I almost said make America great again. Y'all can slap me. I'ma line up. Oh, y'all, the line forms around back. Oh, y'all can slap me because I almost said make America because this bitch was never great. First of all, Kim. Second of all, and third of all, that shit should never be coming out your mouth. I'm so sorry. My apologies. Anyway, that's my story. There was another ruling actually in Wisconsin, and I needed to do some more research into it. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but for the time being, I think abortion is safe in Wisconsin, but not if the white male crackers got anything to say about it. They working on that shit again too. They working on that again too. Anyway, let me take a break. Thank you all so much for showing up. Please give the video a thumbs up. On your way in, on your way out. I don't really care. It's appreciated. Shout out to everyone that comments too. Even if people that just say comment, I do appreciate it. And for those that have left some specific questions under videos, someone asked, how come the closed captioning doesn't work on my channel? The answer is I don't know. I was not aware that it did not work until the person left a comment. So thank you for leaving the comment. So that's something we can look into. In terms of my live chat replay, I don't know what the fuck's going on there either. Personally, y'all know what I think. I mean, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to believe certain things. And for y'all know what I think. I think YouTube be fucking with me. at the end of the day, y'all think YouTube be doing silly shit with my channel, and I don't appreciate it. Mama Lorraine, thank you so much for your super chat support. Thank you so much, Mama Lorraine. Mama Lorraine says that she is looking forward to the Around the Fire support sesh that is happening tomorrow, December the 9th. Yes, December the 9th, and it's happening at 5 p.m. No, Mama Lorraine, thank you. Thank you to Anna. Happy birthday week to Anna Hart, everybody. Please join me in wishing Anna Hart a happy birthday this week. We love the Sagittariuses. We love that fire sign energy. So happy birthday to Anna. And yes, do as Mama Lorraine has instructed. Join us tomorrow, Saturday, December the 8th, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our December Around the Fire Disability Support Chat. This is for, not just for, but it's for not only for disabled folks and disabled adjacent people, caregivers, etc. But honestly, if you just want to come and listen in, participate if you want, about conversations surrounding disability, accessibility, ableism, and the like. Anna and Mama Lorraine and Learn Life Abby, they really do a great job of putting these conversations together, not only just every month, but they do additional support sessions for caregivers, and there's an additional disability support sesh as well. So they do 3 of these discussions every month, and that is so appreciated by me. So come join us tomorrow. Look for the login information on the channel community section, or if you are a patron, it will be available on Patreon. Thank you so much. Patreon.com/BIDWKB. Noli D! What's up, Noli D? Noli D, you gotta join us sometime. I didn't imagine Noli D. Okay, no, that is Noli D. Noli D, you got to come hang out for the disability support session sometime. We would love it. Love to have you there. Give the video a like and a thumbs up, everybody. I want to get into this next story because you guys, you know what? I think I might have mentioned this even just briefly, whatever. On the Remix Morning Show, we were having a conversation about Diddy and all of his latest sexual assault and abuse allegations and lawsuits against him. And we were kind of having a conversation about it. And, one thing that I brought up was that, part of the reason why there's a lot of spectacle around people like Diddy, people like R. Kelly, Russell Simmons, Harvey Weinstein, these high profile celebrities who are accused of abuse and sexual assault. The reason there's a lot of spectacle and, people just like, jaws agape and, oh my God, I can't believe. The reason why there's so much of that kind of reaction is because all of this is relatively new. Okay. There has not been in the history of people, okay, accountability in any meaningful form for people who are survivors of sexual assault. Okay. For Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly to be in jail is a miracle. For Bill Cosby to have served any time in jail, even though the reason he was in jail was not necessarily for the sexual assault, but it was for some other shit. But regardless, he was in jail behind that shit inevitably, right? For that shit to happen, for men to go to jail for this shit is, especially powerful men, like this shit is still very much unheard of. By and large, the majority of criminal sexual assault allegations usually don't go punished, right? They maybe get investigated, maybe they don't get investigated, but an investigation does not necessarily beget an arrest. An arrest does not necessarily beget a trial, and a trial does not necessarily beget a conviction. And the conviction doesn't necessarily beget a fucking jail sentence, right? So many of these sexual predators have been hit with probation or community service or minimal jail time. Egregious sentences, especially compared to the heinousness of the crimes of which they're accused. But what really kind of got this whole accountability ball rolling, that even predates the individual sensational cases of Weinstein, R. Kelly, and the like, were the many, many, many founded accusations of child sex abuse by priests of the Catholic Church. And I guess we're coming up, maybe, are we about a generation away from that? Maybe like 20 or so years from when the floodgates just burst open of the rampant nature and the prolonged duration that the Catholic Church, the global Catholic Church, the fucking Vatican, and all its respective dioceses across the United States, North America, South America, Asia, Australia, Europe, like where? Africa is not a corner that the Catholic Church did not touch, in which they were dispatching known pedophiles who were abusing children and basically blatantly ruining people's lives. Okay. So some states have taken some actions in order to allow the survivors of child sex abuse, especially by churches and institutions, to get some sort of recompense. And in the state of Maryland, such a law was passed, and it went into, I think it went into law October 1st this year. If I'm not mistaken, hold on, I think I have a piece that's going to confirm that fact. And this is different. With the law that Maryland passed differs slightly from the law that New York passed, the Adult Survivors Act that was passed in New York, that allowed adult survivors a 1-year period to bring civil lawsuits against individuals and institutions who may have assaulted them as adults. What Maryland did, they had their Child Survivors Act that passed, that if you were assaulted by a member of the clergy and a church or institution knew about it and covered it up, there is no statute of limitations on civil lawsuits. You could just bring them shits, right? Which I think is a good thing. Look at that. Maryland actually passing some shit that's actually potentially going to help people. But therein lies the rub, everybody, because the Catholic Church, instead of, being a bastion of, accountability and repentance and atonement, aren't these principles that Catholics specifically kick out there? I'm not Catholic. I was not raised Catholic, but I was raised with a number of Catholic friends, and I went to their confirmation classes. So I kind of have some arm length experience with the Catholics, a little bit. A lot of Black Catholics in Maryland, by the way. So the Catholic Church, instead of trying to atone for shit and make up for shit, in the state of Maryland, they said, well, you know, since you done passed this new law, Maryland, that we as the church have been fighting in the state legislature for a long time, since this law passed against our wishes, the Baltimore Archdiocese is going to claim bankruptcy. They're going to file for bankruptcy, you guys. And if you're familiar at all with the bankruptcy process, you know what kind of a dastardly act that is, especially compared to why they are. Why would they file bankruptcy? Because they know they're about to get hit with a shit ton of lawsuits because it was discovered and written. I think it was the Maryland State's Attorney's Office this year published a report that found that the Catholic Church in the state of Maryland was known to have abused over 600 children, right? 600. That's what they knew. That's a firm number. Let's not even talk about the unknown number, but the 600 plus is a firm number. So why would the Baltimore Archdiocese, one of the oldest in the country, by the way, elect to file bankruptcy? Well, because they know they're about to get hit with a bunch of lawsuits. Rightfully so. And I want us to take a listen to this package from Baltimore's WBAL. And the package is going to open with a survivor of child sex abuse at the hands of the Catholic clergy. And the survivors are very upset about this manipulative move undertaken by the Archdiocese of Baltimore, basically in order to circumvent and to protect church assets, protect the assets of the Vatican, to protect these remaining living clergy, the pedophiles that haven't yet died, and a number of things. So I want us to take a listen to this package from WBAL. I think it does pretty decent job of articulating at least the feelings of the survivors about this latest move from the Catholic Church in order to avoid accountability for their generations of abusing and harming children. Let's take a listen.
They're not helping survivors. They never wanted to.
Child sex abuse survivor Teresa Lancaster is not a bit surprised the Baltimore Archdiocese is considering filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The church is anticipating hundreds of lawsuits beginning October 1st, when a new law goes into effect that eliminates the statute of limitations to file a claim.
The church doesn't need this. Nothing's going to stop the church from their saying the masses and feeding the masses as they claim to do. They have the funds. This is just another trick.
A legal expert the I-Team spoke to says Chapter 11 protection makes the new state law moot. The filing would mean a federal judge would set a time frame on filing lawsuits in child sex abuse cases. The bankruptcy would put limits on payouts. The new state law raises a cap on non-economic damages to $1.5 million per incident. It doesn't cap economic or punitive damages.
Automatic stay shuts down everything. Whatever lawsuit is pending, it's shut down because it's at the auspices of the court. So it means you're going to keep the business open, you're just going to reorganize your debt, you're going to pay it in a form of a plan.
For an example of how this could work, the Catholic Diocese of Harrisburg filed for Chapter 11 protection a couple of years ago. In that case, church officials set aside $7.5 million in a trust fund. Insurers kicked in another $11 million. And a trust administrator doled out the money.
Once again, the survivors will not be able to use their own time. They'll have to be forced to go into it quicker and for a much less payout. I'm hoping the judge will see through this and throw it out.
The Archdiocese says bankruptcy protection will help keep the church mission going and establish equitable compensation for survivors. Reporting live from Glen Burnie, David Collins, WBAL TV.
Establish equitable compensation for survivors, and it will help keep the church mission going if the Archdiocese is allowed to file for bankruptcy. What's the church mission at this point? Let me tell you something. Any institution, company, entity where it's all men at the top of leadership, it's all men making the decisions, are institutions that you need to be very leery of, okay? I was going to say, and that's not a diss to men, but it kind of is, okay? I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry. Anytime where it's just dudes making the decisions for everybody else, you directing these bitches, the nuns and the children, and it's going to end bad. I can't think of an all male led organization where it's only men who have say, who have authority, who are in leadership, and that shit is on the up and up. Like it's a good organization. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they doing good work. Who? Who? The Boy Scouts? Who? The US military? Like who's doing the good work at the all male leadership organization? No fucking where. You know why? I don't know why. There's something the matter. I'd be wondering. But I have enough observational experience to know that if it's all men's making the calls, something's wrong and something's going bad somewhere. And if it's going bad, it's probably going very bad. It's going very bad. Very much like the Catholic Church, right? The other part of the church's statement, when we talk about the church mission, what is the church mission? See, this is why I like the title of my show, Burn It Down with Kim Brown, because I don't have any allegiance to none of these fucking institutions. Not that I ever had allegiance to religion or church in a particular way. I do believe in a higher power. I do call on Jesus. You know, why not? So why not call on Jesus? But my point is, hold on, I lost my point. Let me get back there. Heard Guerra stand up for a second. When they talk about an equitable distribution and payouts for the survivors, what I heard there was like everybody is going to get the same payout. And I don't think that everybody's abuse story is equal in the compensation realm, because I think you have to factor in the kind of abuse that was done, the duration of the abuse. Was it a one-time thing versus multiple times over a period of years, possibly, as is the case with some of these survivors? And to me, compensation needs to consider to the extent that the church covered up for said abuser, right? So if the church was aware that Father so and so had credible allegations of sex abuse, but they moved Father so and so to 7 different parishes, and Father so and so was allowed to go from 3 victims at his first parish to now he done accumulated dozens. Like I'm telling you, like there, like that you need, I need for the actuary to be factoring my shit in like that. Were I a survivor specifically of Catholic Church child sex abuse? Like, nope. Because not only do y'all need to factor in my pain, I need y'all motherfuckers to factor in the cover up. Because if y'all covered up for this fucking pedophile ass priest, that put a double on my shit, put a triple on my shit, whatever the fuck you was gonna run me, and you done moved this motherfucker around 5-6 times across the country, around the world. However many times you moved him from whence he touched me, multiply my settlement and my award times that many. If it's 7, if Father so and so moved to 7 other parishes after he left the one where, not me, but you understand what I'm saying, where I was abused, multiply my shit times 7. Like you ain't no standard across the board when we're talking about child sex abuse. And how dare the Catholic Church trying to nickel and dime these survivors? If anything, the Catholic Church in every single parish needs to be grateful and appreciative that it's still standing, that it's still a brick and mortar location, right? Burn it the fuck down. Any institution that enabled a legion of pedophiles, I can't see how it is allowed to remain standing. Couldn't have been me, baby. And again, that's not I'm not dissing no survivor's reaction or nothing like that. But I'm saying, had it been me or mine, somebody shit would have got lit up. Okay, like if I wasn't successful at taking the whole thing down, it would have been some facade damage. You know what I'm saying? There would have been an insurance claim would have had to been filed. Okay? Like, no, ain't no goddamn way. The church should be grateful that all of their survivors have allowed these relics to remain standing. So they really need to open up them purses. They need to open up those church coffers and don't nickel and dime these people. But you guys, it's not just the Baltimore Archdiocese that is acting a fucking fool out here. The Washington Archdiocese as well, acting a fool, trying to preclude survivors from filing a class action lawsuit. Okay. Well, so the WeTransfer video I sent you, I meant to tell you to advance it, like started at like 9 seconds in, because I didn't edit the video super great. So if you could start at about 8 or 9 seconds in, that would be swimming. That would be swell. Thank you, my good fellow. So here's the deal. So the Washington Archdiocese is based in Maryland. Okay, the DMV. Everything is all very close here. Don't act. I don't know the reason, Sway. You ain't got the answer, Sway. I don't know the reason. I don't know why the Washington Archdiocese headquarters are situated or addressed in the state of Maryland, but they are. So some survivors who were abused by priests in DC are trying to sue under the Maryland law. Okay. But the church, the Catholic Church, despite tsunamis, multiple tsunamis of evidence, of accounts, of people coming forward by the literal thousands about the abuse that they have endured, the church as an institution is still trying to stymie people's efforts, trying to hinder people's ability to seek recompense for the horrific abuse that they suffered at the hands of their priests. And this story comes from NBC Washington. And let me give you guys some content warning, because you're going to hear from one of the survivors. And this person is extremely upset. Okay. You can hear the pain and the hurt all in this person's voice. And that's almost even more triggering than the actual abuse that they suffered that they're going to retell in part in this piece. But just to hear the agony of the survivor, who is very obviously a man, very obviously a very grown man, it's just a reminder that it doesn't matter what your gender identity, how old you are, how many years it's been since the trauma. Like, that shit is shit that people do not easily get over. And this is why I always try to loud it up, because society just be like, oh, what happened? So what's up? I don't give a fuck when that shit happened. I don't give a fuck that shit happened last year. I give a shit that happened 10 years ago, 100 fucking years ago. Okay, people don't get over that easily, if ever. So you're going to hear a little bit of that emotion coming through in this interview here on NBC Washington. Let's take a listen. Thank you, Will.
Challenging a Maryland law that allows survivors of sex abuse to sue regardless of when their abuse occurred.
Only on 4 tonight, investigative reporter Tracy Wilkins and the News 4 I-team sat down with a man behind one such lawsuit that's now triggered the church's challenge to the Child Victims Act.
This survivor is part of a class action lawsuit against the Washington Archdiocese over abuse he and others say happened when they were kids, raised and educated in the church. They were able to sue under Maryland law because the Archdiocese is headquartered in Prince George's County. But this man tells us the latest move by the church challenging his ability to bring this suit at all is like experiencing his life-altering assault all over again.
I couldn't tell nobody.
We are obscuring this man's face and altering his voice to help protect his identity.
My mother was a devout Catholic. Who is she going to believe? Who is anybody going to believe?
In a civil class action lawsuit filed against the Archdiocese of Washington, he's identified by the pseudonym Richard Rowe. He says he's the survivor of sexual abuse that allegedly occurred by an unnamed priest in St. Jerome Parish in Hyattsville in the mid-1960s.
There's no doubt in my mind he did it to other boys.
Rowe is one of 3 plaintiffs on the class action suit. In the complaint, Rowe says that around age 10, he was lured to the priest's bedroom and molested. The other 2 men describe ongoing sexual assaults and rape at the hands of priests, one of whom was later convicted of sexually abusing multiple children.
We have to right this wrong.
In the class action complaint, Baltimore attorney Jonathan Shakur laid out the church's history of admonishing priests for abuse of children, a sign he says that they've long known of the problem. Shakur accuses the Washington Archdiocese of aiding and abetting abusers.
They hid it, they concealed it, and then they would move. They played a shell game.
Shakur said it's not lost on the survivors he represents that the Baltimore Archdiocese filed for bankruptcy in anticipation of civil suits, only for the Washington Archdiocese to now try to overturn the law.
And their goal are twofold. One, shield their assets and not compensate these folks for admitted sexual abuse. And 2, somehow circumvent the law.
The church spent years fighting passage of the Maryland Child Victims Act in the state legislature. The delegate who sponsored the legislation said the church is now continuing those efforts in the courts.
Now that we have an opportunity for these victims to finally receive justice, and now again the church is trying to fight it.
The Archdiocese declined an interview request of the I-Team, but in a statement defended its challenge to the Child Victims Act, saying the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Washington is asserting its legal defense in the cases filed against it. It went on to say it remains committed, however, to our long-standing efforts to bring healing to survivors through pastoral care and other forms of assistance. In the class action suit, Shakur lays out how the abuse suffered by these survivors has forever altered their lives, leaving many with emotional distress, anger, PTSD, shame, guilt, all of which this survivor says led to him adopting unhealthy coping mechanisms.
From age 15 until 40, I used alcohol to cope with the pain. And all that did was turn me into an alcoholic.
He said the abuse cost him years of his life and also his faith.
I no longer believe in Jesus Christ. He's my mentor, but he ain't my savior because he would have saved me that night.
Under Maryland's Child Victims Act, survivors are eligible to receive up to $1.5 million in damages in cases against private institutions like the church. Meanwhile, Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown's office says it's prepared to defend any challenges to that law. Shakur tells us he plans to respond to the church's filing this week.
It is 100% shameful that the Catholic Church and any of its branches are, the Archdiocese of DC, the Archdiocese of Baltimore, like how dare they do anything to try to legally circumvent trying to pay back something, anything to these survivors. It's completely, I guess, antithetical to what I suppose the church claims to represent. Like you're supposed to be a body representing the spirit and the love of Jesus Christ. Is Jesus? Do you think Jesus? Is Jesus gonna go to court and try to break up the class action lawsuit so the survivors of child sex abuse can't sue? Is that what Jesus? Is that what Jesus would do? I don't think that's what Jesus would do. I think Jesus would pay them people. I think Jesus would hopefully go upside the head of all the pedophiles. I hope Jesus would do some thug shit. Really, I hope Jesus would do a lot of things, but I don't think Jesus would try to dissuade the survivors or try to obstruct them in any way from getting any recompense. And this is what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to sex abuse, period, in societies. Were we a society that actually cared about the well-being of survivors and to ensure that massively influential and powerful and wealthy institutions like the Catholic Church could never enable these things to happen again? If we were a society that was really about that shit, there wouldn't be, none of these fucking churches would be standing. Not one. In this DC area, the Catholic Church school system is very robust. There's a lot of Catholic schools around here. All them shits would be tore the fuck down. Like if we really cared about survivors, right? And if you're not familiar about the extent of the child sex abuse sanctioned basically by the Roman Catholic Church and committed in every single one of its archdioceses, apparently. Um, Specific to Maryland, there's a Netflix documentary. It's called The Keepers. And content warning and trigger warning, it is not for those with who get queasy stomachs easily. It is a very hard documentary to listen to watch. It is extremely explicit and raw, and I can't underscore like how much admiration I have to the people who sat down and allowed themselves to be interviewed for that documentary, The Keepers, on Netflix, because those people kept it a buck. Okay, and the shit that these priests were doing to these girls and boys is so abhorrent. Again, I'm stunned that any of these Catholic Church institutions remain standing, because if we cared about such things, these institutions would be gone. Okay. And even for those who are defenders of the church, and I don't know who those people could be, but those who are defenders of the church would be like, well, it was just a few bad apples. Woo! Where do we hear that? In primarily male-led institutions, right? We hear that coming from the cops all the time. It's just a few bad apples. A few bad apples ruins the bunch is the completion of the phrase, okay? And the Catholic Church as an institution is ruined. It's been in ruins for some time. It's been internally cancerous. And the rest of us over the past 20 or so odd years have got an opportunity to see truly into the depths of that depravity that the Catholic Church knew about and was sanctioning and enabling and effectively promoting pedophilia and the abuse of kids. So, we still need to be reminded and questioned openly. I say, like, when priests or the Catholic Church in particular, it's not just the Catholic Church, by the way. It's a rock of religions out here doing wild child sex abuse, but we talking about the Catholic Church today. But openly question, why is Father so and so here? like if there's some shit where the Catholics show up, or not the Catholics per se, but like a representative of the Catholic clergy, or this basketball tournament's being brought to you by Saint blah de blah. Why? What for? Why? We shouldn't even allow it. It shouldn't even be allowed to run. And I'm not suggesting that we go into a period where Catholics, a period like we have seen in this country before, where Catholics were not, welcome and able to, worship openly and this, that, and the third. I'm not talking about that shit. But y'all need to go collect y'all folks. Is basically what I'm coming to at the end of the day. And I'm very encouraged to see survivors everywhere try to do exactly that. Try to hold the church accountable. But again, I said we hold the church accountable with gasoline and matches. Okay. And I'm only half ass kidding, because I can't get it. It's just like America. Like, I don't want America to continue to exist and thrive. Why? This is a colony founded upon genocide that continues to deny people basic human rights, that don't give basic healthcare rights to women in this country in 2023. Why would I want America to keep going? To keep going and keep getting worse. The Catholic Church continues to get worse. Defending itself from these kind of lawsuits reveals how much worse the church is. Not only did you allow and sanction all of this abuse, now you're trying to defend it. Now you're trying to say it wasn't that bad. Now you're trying to say, well, them people wasn't hurt or harmed as much as they say. We shouldn't have to kick out X amount of dollars because we shouldn't, because it's us. The fuck out of here with that bullshit. Every institution that is complicit in this, that is guilty of this, keep calling them out. Even if you think that ain't people been to call the Catholic Church out, Kim? Yeah, they have. But guess what? They still need more calling out. Call out the other religious institutions, the churches, the clergy, the people in positions of power, the authority figures. Call out the famous celebrity individuals whose exploits about abuse and rape have been rumored and whispered about for a long time, and give voice and amplify the stories of people that are trying to tell their truths about what they've experienced. Like, we have to keep drawing this shit out, just like like this pimple on my face. We need to keep drawing it out. We need to pour peroxide on this whole situation and draw it out. Let it come out erupt through the skin. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we cannot let up on this issue. I'm not going to let up on this issue. I don't give a fuck. Catholics, I don't give a fuck who it is. Okay. At the end of the day, if people are out here complicit and enabling and guilty of abuse and sexual predation, keep calling it out, y'all, because we are still in new and basically uncharted times. We are going to determine direction of how society is going to look at this, talk about this, and address this issue in the future. So the more we ring it out right now in 2023, hope to God that when your babies in 20 years get to be grown youngins, like the way that they talk about this shit is going to be way fucking different. You feel me? Court. I love you. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for your Cash App support, Courtney. Thank you for all that you always do for us, Courtney. But no, guys. So yeah, we're not going to let up. We're going to keep our boots on the necks of the predators, of the institutions that help to enable the predators, all of that. And to the people that ignore the issue, the people that, poo-poo or yada yada the issue. No, we're going to keep our boots on all they fucking necks. Because I don't want this for your kids. I don't want this for your grandkids. We're going to do better. ¿Comprendes? Okay, claro. Okay, gang. That's my time. Hold on. Let me say bye to y'all. Who's in here? Courtney's in here, apparently. Thank you, Court, for your support. If you want to get like Courtney and run the channel some material support, you can absolutely do so. Cash App, $BIDWKB, Venmo at BIDWKB, Patreon.com/BIDWKB, PayPal.me/BIDWKB. We certainly appreciate it. Dee, there goes Northern Witch. Hey, Dee, tell the family we said hey. Tell the family we said hey. Just a reminder again, everybody, don't forget, tomorrow is the Around the Fire Disability Support Chat. We do this every second Saturday of the month, every second Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Join me, Anna Hart, Mama Lorraine, Learn Life Abby, and everybody else if you want to come kick it. Be looking in the community section of the channel for the link, or it will be available on Patreon. What's up, Ghost of John? Come through, Donnie. Come through, Mama Lorraine. Holly Wendy. Infinite content. If I say infinite content, you better not play no games with me, infinite content. You know I got love for you, infinite content. You better quit playing. Who else is in here? What did I miss? Oh, there go my niece. Is that Alicia? Oh, wait, I can't fast read. Hold on, give me a second. Y'all know I'm gonna be half-ass reading and shit in this bitch. Okay, there go Jenna. Thank you so much, Damien. Thank you so much. Oh, Alazarian. Jesus. I'm sorry. I think I already gave you my colonized tongue version. Alazarian. You got to send me the phonetics on that. But thank you so much for all of your support. We appreciate you guys to pieces. Peace to Yipper99. Thank you so much for coming through in here. And shout out to what's up, Chichimacha? Shout out to Court and Latif. Peace to Chuck Diesel, the Night Rider. I know we not in here, but shout out to them niggas anyway. And on behalf of Will and Molly, guys, that's going to be our show. We'll see y'all back here on Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe to my good comrades over at Black Power Media. Subscribe to the Say Your Mind podcast, Kalechi Okafor. Subscribe to Status Quo News, Jordan Harrington and the crew doing good work over there. So yeah, just show love, show support out here in these YouTube streets, and we'll see y'all back here on BIDWKB next Tuesday. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye bye.